Thank you for double-clicking your mouse tonight. You're listening to the Midnight Frightcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight Frightcast, episode number 34. I am one of your hosts, Josh. Sitting across the table from me is the Doctor of Filmonomics, Greg, the movie guy.
I forgot about that, but I'm going to go with it. Dr. Filmonomics, I love it.
And to my right, the Doctor of everything else, Patrick.
Usually proctology.
Yes.
Heyo.
So, I only play a doctor on TV. So we have a full house tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. So should we just get right on it?
I think we probably can.
Okay. We're going to start with our trailer. We watched the trailer for the new and upcoming movie, 14 Cameras. Who wants to start?
Go ahead, Greg.
I'll jump on because I never saw 13 Cameras, and this is apparently a sequel, which I was very pleasantly surprised by right before we watched the trailer. Having watched the trailer for the first movie, or for the second movie on the first movie that I have never seen, I am intrigued by this second movie. Is it very similar to what the first movie was like?
It really is. It's
probably like a new family or something.
We're basically getting more of the same thing.
Okay.
It's just they've upped the, I don't want to say
Camera
kill
continuity?
count. Well, no, I don't want to say they upped. I would say kill count because there's more people than the first one. I'm assuming that more of them die. So
yeah, because it's been a while since I've seen it, and I thought there was just 2 people in the other one. Three.
Okay.
And this one says family of 5.
yeah. So
Okay.
it looks like we're getting more of the same thing.
Okay.
Basically, it's the one thing I did like about the live stream. The live stream thing is new. It's not necessarily a bad thing that we're getting more of the same thing. I hope that they change some stuff up.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Because from what I remember the feels from the last one, because
Sure.
I don't remember much of the movie. I just remember being creeped out by the guy.
Oh, yeah.
You pointed out he looked like what would you say?
A Bruce Willis burn victim.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, Bruce.
he's just a creepy dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really like him,
the
though.
character's
That
a
actor
creepy
is great.
dude. So I just hope they do more with him this time.
Yeah, so I was randomly just scrolling through on Hulu, and on Hulu they have, at the bottom, they have upcoming trailers, and I saw 14 Cameras, and I was convinced that Greg had seen 13 Cameras. So really I was like, we should watch 14 Cameras. I was joking. I thought Greg would throw shit at me for choosing 14 Cameras for the trailer, and then when he didn't, I was surprised, and now I know why, because
he
he
hasn't
didn't
seen
actually
it.
see 13
Right,
Cameras,
right.
but you did.
But having seen this, I'm intrigued to go back and watch the first
You should.
one. Granted, there are a few spoilers for the first one, but I'm still intrigued to go and check it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
there's no real. Was there spoilers in that for the first one? I don't think there really was.
Nah.
There
Aside
really
from
isn't.
the main guy, this is the same guy from the first one?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, well,
you
there's
have no
spoiler
idea
alert.
what happens to
No,
the
I
original
don't, but I
three.
know
Yeah.
that he carries from one film to the second.
That is true.
So that kind of takes that element out of it, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I'm not going to go and watch it. So
Yeah, it's definitely worth the watch. It's pretty quick. It's short.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I'm going to move on because 13 Cameras is on my watch list.
It piques my interest. When I saw this, you had mentioned I had forgotten completely about 13 Cameras.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I've seen this before. And you said, no, this is new one. That was 13 cameras. This is 14 cameras.
They added the camera.
They added a camera.
Nice.
And that may be the stream. The live stream may be
Yeah,
the additional
yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
It's the same house though. It is
Yeah.
the same house from the original.
Yeah.
They said that it had this like Airbnb feel to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely got that.
Yeah, so that was kind of a new. That's a popular thing right now, the Airbnb thing. So that was kind of different as well. The first one, that family was just renting the house,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, 14 Cameras. I'll definitely check it out. I don't know if it's going to get, because 13 Cameras went directly to Netflix, right? Do you know?
I don't remember. I was just trying to look to see if it was on Netflix right now.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of.
I think it is. I think I went past it the other night while I was flipping through, so
Gotcha.
I'll have to
Yeah.
add it to my queue.
I don't know what kind of release 14 Cameras is going to get, but hopefully they just drop it
Probably
right on to
straight to, which
Netflix.
is
Yeah.
fine by me.
Totally check it out. So
Cool.
yeah,
Beans.
Is there a release date on that? Did they say in the trailer?
did not see.
Let's see if I can find it real
a
quick.
release date on
Find
that.
release date.
But while Patrick is looking for a release date, so
July 2018. So
soon.
soon.
It is July, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It
2018.
doesn't say a specific date, but it just says July 2018.
Cool. We'll just keep our eyes open for it. Then watch 13 Cameras for.
I will, definitely.
Good. It's a good watch. So, this is what we've been watching.
What we've been watching.
Should we do it?
Let's do it. Who's starting?
Greg's starting.
I will start it. All
Correct.
right.
Yep.
So I have finally gotten to go out to the theaters. It's been far too long since I've been out because I've been a lot of movies that I want to catch up on, and I just have not had the time to go out. So it was about a week ago. Emily and I and a friend of mine, Adam, went out to the theaters, and we caught Incredibles 2. And I was pleasantly surprised with how good they did with it after it being a 14-year sabbatical.
Right.
Very, very pleased with how it turned out. Really interesting how much darker it was in the first
I heard
one.
it went really adult.
It's,
like, grown
yeah,
up.
like, I don't know, have either of you seen it?
No.
That's on my list.
Of to see or have seen?
Have seen.
Oh, okay.
So I can talk about it at the same time you did. Rachel and I did go out and we watched it. Took Anya with us because we all saw the original.
Sure.
And I felt, yes, it was a bit darker than the original and more geared for adults than it was for kids. In fact, I hardly saw any kids in the
Right.
theater. It was mostly people, mid-40s, around there, in to see it. Of course, we saw it after many weeks it had already been open.
Right.
Yes,
I liked how they started it off with being introduced by the cast, saying, yes, it's been 14 years, it's been way too long, but we guarantee you're going to enjoy it. And I did.
Absolutely.
I really, really liked it.
Did they kind of recap it all from the first one? Was there like
No, not really. They just kind of jumped in with a new storyline.
Did they?
But it was like immediately following the first one.
It's
Yeah.
right after the first one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so that was kind of a nice little touch and a nice little nod right there to that. But I felt the story was a little predictable. I kind of called it about halfway through, but I still didn't. It didn't bother me at all. I liked where the story went. The villain that they had in there was awesome, and the one scene between Elastigirl and the villain with the fight scene that they had in there was awesome.
Really good.
Absolutely awesome how they did that.
Yeah.
So,
and I would have to say that Jack just totally
stole it.
Yeah.
The entire thing. Yeah. That was his movie.
The baby,
Absolutely.
the baby.
The baby.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we can skip me because I did see Incredibles 2.
Cool. Well, I mean, I watched real quick since we just talked about 14 cameras. I watched 13 cameras this week, which is another reason that 14 cameras came up. Again, since I have already kind of touched on it already, but I really like the idea of it. I thought it's kind of a new take on home invasion. Would you call that home invasion?
I would say,
Kind of?
yeah, because they're in a safe, what they assume is a safe place, and this guy's not only watching them with the voyeurism stuff, but he's actually getting into their spaces.
Yeah, he goes into their house multiple times.
Yeah.
I really like the guy, the antagonist, the guy, the creepy guy. The actor's was perfectly cast. He had a great look. Just he doesn't say much. He's got very little dialogue, but just watching him is creepy. I like that they didn't show it all through just the cameras. That very little of it's actually shown through the cameras that he places through the house. I thought it was going to go that way, and that was going to bug the shit out of me, and I would have shut it off at that point probably.
Which is it's kind of a nice little piece coming from somebody who hasn't seen that, because I see a 13 cameras title, and even just watching the trailer for 14 cameras, and you could think that could go found footage very quickly.
Oh yeah. I'm really glad that they avoided it for most of the movie.
Awesome.
There's just little bits and pieces of showing it through the actual camera. And again, the last little bit I have on that was nothing was safe. There was no actor in there that I knew.
Awesome.
Nobody is safe in that movie.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going to go on. So
I had heard that Molly Ringwald is signing on for 16 cameras.
really,
I would watch that. You
Greg.
laugh, but I'm not kidding.
Well, she's a redhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's hot.
what else have you been watching, Greg?
Hi. Welcome back. So 4th of July came around, and I got a day off of work, which was awesome. Emily and I went out to the theaters again, and we caught an anticipated film for me, anyways, was Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Give it to me straight, sir.
Well, I will first direct our audience to my blog page where I have a post up for that movie at gregthemovieguy.com. I was not impressed. It had the makings of a really, really good summer blockbuster film.
Yeah.
Everything was there. The story just did not do anything for me, which was kind of a bummer because Chris Pratt, I love Chris Pratt. I think he's a phenomenal actor. He did a great job in this. I feel like the movie was about 45 minutes too long. Mm-hmm. The antagonists and the villains in it were horrible. Like, I didn't give a crap about any of them. They didn't draw any sort of emotion from me. Mm-hmm. I felt like the one interesting thing that I pulled from this movie was that it flip-flopped genres multiple times. Not necessarily from not necessarily from action to adventure, but they dip into horror a little bit.
Okay.
And I won't get too far into it because if you want to see it, you'll have to see it for yourself. But there's a scene more towards the end where it's straight up horror. We went to an 8:45 in the morning showing, Jeez. And there was a family of 4 that was sitting in one of the front rows. Side note, they had an infant with them.
Ugh.
Oh, that's always fun at a theater.
But they did have like a 4, 5, 6-year-old little boy in there. You know, take a kid to see dinosaurs. That's kind of cool. Well, it got to this scene, and guess who was screaming at the top of his lungs?
That's exciting. You?
Greg?
You?
No comment. No, this kid was like losing his mind. He was so terrified.
Oh, my God.
I would not take kids younger than like 10 to this.
What was the rating on this?
PG-13.
Probably PG-13.
Okay, is there blood in this film?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought there was.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the scene that I'm talking about where Okay. Would you classify that as a horror?
Possibly.
It gets like really close to it.
Okay, well, I'm taking my 8 and 9-year-old to it on Wednesday.
They should be fine.
Your kids should be fine.
Yeah.
What?
Your kids are a little bit more desensitized to things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, this kid was way too young to see this kind of a scene.
Gotcha. The reason I asked that was because Jurassic Park was PG-13, and there are dinosaur attacks in that movie. No blood.
And I don't think there was much, if anything. Like, okay, I take that back. There was a little bit of blood, but it was like a medical type where they stick the T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that was about the only spot that I can think of.
Just saying, like, I feel like the PG-13 in 1993, 4
is way
different than the PG-13
now.
Yeah, so that's why I asked.
Oh yeah.
So
that was my thought. I'm kind of curious as to what you thought of it.
I enjoyed it, but I knew going into it what it was.
Okay.
Because it's just a cash cow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I did feel it was a bit darker than the rest of them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, once again, I mean, don't go into it thinking you're going to get a great story or anything like that. I did think something was going to be a little bit different about the girl. Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew what it was, but I thought there was going to be something a little different about it, and I don't want to give it away on the cast because it's still a relatively new film, so I can tell you later when we're done.
Let's chat off mic
about it. But no, we enjoyed it, but I think it was because we knew what it was.
Sure.
Is there more coming?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gonna keep going.
No, there's no contest.
As long as they hit those box office numbers like they are, you can guarantee they're gonna
milk it for all it's worth.
Yep.
Cool. So. That's fun.
I saw a movie. Not based on a recommendation by Josh, but the last time we met, Josh had mentioned the movie Terrifier.
Oh, yeah.
And I had looked it up online and was able to watch it because the reason I wanted to see it is because Art the Clown looked really intriguing to me, the character itself. So that being said, I watched it. It's your typical, and Josh may disagree with me on this, or he may agree with me, I don't know, typical B-movie style slasher, where it was basically just head count.
Yeah, that's what I said on the review.
Right.
Yeah. It's a kill count film.
So for me, it's kind of like I watch it, I see some interesting kills. There's no way he could slice through a woman with a hacksaw as quickly as he did.
That kill was pretty fucking awesome.
It was pretty. It was a lot of fun pretty awesome, but I think it would have been better with a chainsaw. Could have gone through it much quicker.
Yeah.
If he had a hack, I mean, he was using a hacksaw, and it would have taken him like hours to do that, just to get through the bone and everything else. But it was pretty nasty. But I will say that Art the Clown, to me, committed a cardinal slasher sin.
All right. What was it?
The movie came out in 2017, right? So I think we can probably give a spoiler on it.
I mean, it just came out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it just got. I think they made it in 2017.
Okay.
It just dropped VOD not that long ago. But you can. I mean.
Okay. I will say it.
Spoilers coming.
All right. Spoiler coming. He committed a slasher film sin by using a gun.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. That's fair. Because he had that fight with that one. Like he couldn't kill that one girl, right? Like he was going back and forth.
She kept fighting back. She kept fighting back. Blah blah blah
so
blah blah.
He got tired of her.
He got tired of it and just pulls out a gun. I'm sort of going, no, this is a slasher.
Okay. I got you.
This is a slasher.
Fair.
I can.
That's fair. But I mean, again, you don't. I didn't watch. I knew going into that movie, like Beyond Rules and Beyond all that other stuff. That movie was just an excuse to write really cool kills and just show them.
And there were some really cool kills in there.
Yeah.
There was some really bad special effects as well.
Yeah,
but there was some really good ones. So I mean, it's not the normal thing I would normally watch, but the character itself was very intriguing.
Yeah.
Would you put him as an immortal?
Yeah.
Like Jason Voorhees or
no, because I think he's. I mean, there's no history behind him.
No,
there's no backstory.
But at the end,
I don't know.
All right, well, Terrifier. That's what I saw.
You can watch that on Amazon Prime.
Yep,
it's a cheap rent. That's where you can find Terrifier. So there's that. I watched a film last night. I was looking for a third because I was looking for another movie to watch that I could talk about today, and I was looking for something that like I didn't have to really pay attention to either because I was writing and shit last night. So I was like, I'm gonna put on a background movie, and then I ended up watching the whole goddamn thing. I watched a movie called 2001 Maniacs last night. Do you know? You just nodded your head. Do you know what that is? Okay, never mind. It's got Robert Englund and Lynn Shay in it, and it's basically a splatterfest. It's
your favorite.
Yeah, it was fantastic for real. It's college kids follow a detour. They're trying to get to Daytona Beach quicker, so they follow a detour, and it takes them right into this small remote town in Georgia where these Hicks are getting ready to they're preparing for their Guts and Glory festival, and they show up, and they're treated very nicely at the beginning, and then shit just hits the fan, and we get all sorts of kills. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like, it was no Terrifier, but it was still a lot of fun to watch. So, and I like to watch people come up with creative ways to kill characters in these movies, and it had every kill was followed by a one-liner. It was classic Robert Englund. So
was any of those one-liners clean up on aisle whatever?
No.
Damn.
But every single time somebody got killed, there was a one-liner that followed it, and it was horror comedy. So it was a lot of fun. What else you got? What else you got, Greg?
So for my last one, I had watched. I cannot figure this TV show out, or excuse me, this series out. So Netflix has this series called The Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
I posted on the first part when it came out as a TV show that I really could not get into because Ashton Kutcher is a dunce. He plays himself pretty well, now that I've mentioned that. But I watch it more for Sam Elliott and some of the other cast. And it's a weird show. It can't figure out whether it's a drama or a sitcom or whatever the heck it is. And I
does it have a laugh track?
It does not. I don't think
everybody
it does.
asked me this, and I cannot remember if it does. I feel like it does.
I watched like the first few episodes of the first season and just couldn't get into it because it felt weird.
I don't know.
Isn't that what sitcoms kind of really are?
Well, no, not necessarily,
no?
because I mean, like if you look at Modern Family or any of those other things, those are I'd consider those to be sitcoms, but they're not. There's no laugh track behind it.
Yeah, that's true. But they're not shot. They're not shot 3-camera style, which I attribute that to sitcom. The 5th part of this series came out, and I watched it, and I'm still in the same place that I was. I don't know how I feel about it. Like it's intriguing enough to I keep coming back. I don't feel like I gain anything from it, and it's really weird. And actually, a lot of the pull for this season was to see what they did with Danny Masterson's character after his little
Is he still on the show? Because Netflix kind of made it sound like they busted.
They dropped him.
They dropped. Who was the one guy from
Kevin Spacey?
Kevin Spacey. But then they said, maybe we'll keep Masterson.
Oh wow!
So Danny Masterson is in the entire series, or excuse me, entire Part 5 season, I guess you could call it.
All right.
Which I've heard had brought out a lot of backlash because of that whole situation. Yeah. The way that they ended it, I was not thrilled with, and I'm trying to decide if I want to spoil it or not. I probably shouldn't, but I don't believe he's coming back for whatever future seasons parts, whatever they have.
Did they greenlight it for another season then, or?
It's apparently one of the better series on Netflix, which I cannot get.
I can't understand.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
So I watched Part 5 of The Ranch. Again, I love Sam Elliott. He's an amazing actor. He's one of the best mustaches in the business. Mm-hmm. The rest of it, I don't know. I really don't.
But you continue to watch it. So there's something there.
There's some pull, and maybe it was just the whole Danny Masterson situation that I wanted to see. Like the final season of House of Cards comes out, I think, in the next couple months, and they dropped a teaser on the 4th of July.
I saw that
with Claire Underwood sitting in the whatever chair she was sitting in, and oh my god, I am so excited for that.
I never watched that show either.
Dude, watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
What else did you watch?
All right. Well, it's not what I watched. I didn't watch as much as I normally do because I've been listening to a lot of more podcasts lately. So I did want to show one that I'm totally into lately is WTF with Mark Maron.
Okay.
He interviews people all the time, and you just get some really great insights into where these actors came from, what their processes are, and everything else. It's just a really good podcast. But the one I want to give a shout out to is The Fear of God. Greg pointed it out to us a few weeks ago. It was. And what is really cool about this podcast, they review horror films, but they also lay upon it the religious aspect of it, and they're able to add spiritual and what's the word I'm looking for?
Religious?
Not just religious, but what messages you can take away from it.
Oh, sure.
Based on the Bible and stuff like that.
Morals, maybe?
What's that?
Morals?
Possibly morals, but they also throw in scripture readings and stuff like that from the Christian point of view. So it's just really interesting because they'll take movies that you wouldn't necessarily think would have some sort of message behind it, and they're able to find a message behind it. And if you have a chance, and I'm just giving them a plug, if you have a chance, check them out.
Absolutely.
Fear of God. They also have a Facebook group as well, and they do some discussions in there. So if you have a chance, check them out.
I just listened to their episode on The Purge.
Yeah.
And that just blew me out of the water. Like I almost want to go back and rewatch The Purge based on what they had talked about. But it's kind of reinvigorated the series for me. Like I watched the first one and I felt like it was kind of a gigantic letdown. Like there was not much to it. And I know you really enjoyed it.
I like the Purge series, yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like the first one is kind of the weaker? Because I think they'd stated that.
I think Anarchy is actually the weakest of the three.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Sure.
But
I think they had stated that 2 and 3 were far better.
Election Year is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, by far.
Okay.
But
so I'm kind of intrigued to go back and give it another shot based on what they had talked about and their thoughts on it. But no, they do a really good job with dissecting. Like they dissect. Oh, they really dissect.
They do.
But
the two hosts, Reed and Nathan, I think is the other guy's
Reed
name.
Nathan.
Nathan has got this laugh that is just just sets you off.
Right.
Because he's one of those people that he will laugh and not care what anybody thinks about it. And my wife is that way. She just has one of those laughs that we're in the middle of a crowded theater and people just turn and look at her and I'm like, fuck off.
You can hear it from blocks away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So check out WTF with Mark Maron and Fear of God.
Cool. I love listening to podcasts. I listen to podcasts all day long.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen to a podcast. Instead, I watched a movie called It Stains the Sands Red. And I've had this movie in my collection for a while now, and I just got it out the other day and watched it for the first time. Had a really good time with it. It's kind of a new take on a zombie film. Because what happens is a girl and her boyfriend are driving to like an airfield to get on a plane to fly somewhere, and in the middle of going, their car breaks down. And there's one lone zombie out in the desert that they are driving through, and it attacks them. And the thing that I liked about the movie was the zombie doesn't ever it never gets tired. This wasn't a horde mentality, and this zombie doesn't run. But the one thing it does do is it never gets tired. It doesn't have to stop to eat or go to the bathroom or get a drink because it's in the desert. And she does. And it chases her across the entire desert. And every time she stops, he doesn't. So I liked that idea. I thought the acting was rough in it. The acting was rough in it. The main girl they cast was not the best choice, I didn't think. I don't know. It's just... I thought it was a really interesting take on a zombie film that I had never seen before. So, It's Stains the Sand Red. You can rent it, I think, on Prime right now. I went and bought it because I, like the special features.
Because that's what you do.
And that's what I do. Yeah, it was a good flick. It was a good time. So, that's it. There. Are we moving on, or do we have more to?
Well, yeah, this is a question I'm going to throw out. We're already about 30 minutes into the podcast.
Oh, cool.
So we could either touch lightly on the next topic and then spend the majority of the time on the review, or just jump straight into the review.
I would vote to at least touch the topic.
Okay.
Because I think Greg is just going to smash Tragedy Girls.
All right.
We can hit the topic.
Let's hit the topic.
It's your topic. You bring. Well,
the topic that I threw out to you guys earlier this week was to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of horror movie cliches, and I left it as a broad topic, just to see what we all come to the table with, and kind of thinking maybe what is a horror movie cliche that always works for you, or horror movie cliche that you're tired of seeing. Or cliches that have absolutely just frickin' ruined a movie for you.
Sure.
Cool.
Okay.
Do you want to start it off then?
I could start it off. I'm going to bring up my notes is what I'm going to do here.
Yeah, we had homework.
One of the things that kind of drives me crazy is when people they're updating their movies, they're trying to make them more techie, things like that. And they get their answers on Google instead of doing like actual research. To me, it's such a simple cop-out. And I think maybe it's a writer thing. It's like, I can give them this information so easily without having to write another scene.
Right.
Just Google it. And that one just kind of drives me crazy. I just think it's a little too easy to find information. Unfortunately, we did something similar with Emily, if you think about it, though, because... we did have some websites up on the screen that he was doing some research on.
We did, however, but it wasn't in the moment.
Right. It didn't give the information.
And I think because I agree with you, I think that's like one of the biggest, like, kick in the balls.
Yeah.
Of, okay, well, that was an easy, let's just move on from that. But, and I'm not doing this just because it's our movie and I'm trying to defend it. We had a writer who was doing the research, and I think that assisted with building where he was getting his information from. Whereas, oh my God, there's a ghost over there. I'm going to Google and see what his situation is. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now I know.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I just think sometimes it's a little too easy.
Right. Exactly.
So that's that. To me, that's a bad, not necessarily an ugly.
Okay. Greg, you got one?
So yeah, just going up with this, we give a good, we give a bad, we give an ugly.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I
right.
wrote down three of two, the good and bad. I didn't write down an ugly one.
Well, maybe one that's bad is worse than the other bad.
Well, I wrote down the cell phone. I wrote down the cell phone for my bad cliche.
Mm-hmm.
The no service.
The no service.
It's an easy cop out to give people an excuse that are in danger to, I have no way of calling for help because I just happen to have no service, and I really can't go anywhere really now, really, where you get no service.
Right.
And so it doesn't really work. I mean, it just doesn't work for me,
there are places you can go to that don't have service. Trust me, I work for a company that we go out in the fields and
there's nothing.
There's
nothing.
All right. Well,
I mean, that still does exist, but you're right. It's a cop out. We even discussed that when we were looking at writing another script, and we decided that they actually left their phones as opposed to dealing with we have no bars.
Yeah, and we wrote that into the Devil's Den, but we had one girl that did have phone service. So, I mean, we took that shit out real quick. Yeah.
So where do you list that then?
In the bad.
Bad.
I mean, I guess I have worse on here, but I'd go with the cell phone no service for the bad for mine.
See, I haven't listed on. I have a bunch of them, but I have that listed under my ugly, just because it's so cheap. You know, if you're gonna have a cell phone and they're gonna be dinking around with it, write it in a little bit better than I don't have service. Let the people screw with the phone service, or steal the phones and then smash them. At least that's somewhat better. But
all right,
yeah.
So we're doing bads or
you can throw any of them in, but we're just doing one good, one bad, one ugly.
Okay, I'm trying to do ones that haven't been brought up. I'm gonna continue suit, and I'm gonna list one of my all-time favorite bad cliches of horrors is I call it the Murphy's Law of Escape, where somebody's trapped in a room and they're trying to go for the door. Oh, the door's locked from the other side. Okay, well, I'm going to go out the window. Oh, the window is locked too and I can't get out. Okay, well, I'm going to break the window open with a chair. Oh, something happened there and I don't know. Or you get in the car and, oh, no, the car doesn't start. Just every little thing that seems that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I think that's just, it's almost like it's poor writing. Like we're trying to keep them there. We're gonna come up with every little thing that could go wrong, and there's no saying that couldn't happen, but it just seems like a cheap cop out, kind of like a cell phone thing. So,
gotcha.
I'm switching my. No, I'm not. Because the two of them that I had were bads. I don't know that I necessarily have an ugly where I felt it completely ruined a film for me, and maybe you guys will bring something up that's what it was. But another thing that drives me crazy, probably a little bit more than the Googling thing, is when you see based on actual events.
I have that one down too.
When it doesn't in any way, shape, or form. That they're just going for a cheap, we're going to make people think this really, really happened.
Right.
We know better. Don't make me feel stupid.
Yeah. I wrote down for that. I wrote.
So to me, that's actually that slides worse than my other bads. So I guess that goes into my ugly pile.
Yeah. I wrote for that one. I wrote down. For the most part, it's true. Parts are true. One of these things happened. That's basically what I wrote because they take one thing that happened, it kind of happened that way, and they go, all of this happened. It's all based on true events because one small tiny part of it happened. But yeah, based on true events was also on my list. I also wrote down found footage because all I wrote down was recycle.
Yeah.
That's all I did. I could honestly do away with found footage films now, and there's found footage films I dig the shit out of. If you don't have a new way of doing it, then I don't want to see it anymore.
It's played out.
Yeah,
it had its time in the sun, and it needs to vacate.
Yeah, I think about the only way you can really come up with something, and it's not necessarily different, is just finding a different genre type thing, not genre, topic. I don't know, because it was like witches, and then there was. And then finally someone came out with aliens, and it's like, because no one had gone into that part of it.
Yeah.
They'd gone into paranormal.
The paranormal activity was,
but nobody had done aliens, and then they finally came out with aliens stuff. So,
I'm kind of over it. Now, in a way, there was, Man Versus was kind of found footage, right?
Yes.
Kind of. It was,
Yeah,
really
'cause
shot
It was
on
a
his,
cross
like,
between.
and I mean, I thought that was okay, but I mean, that was a new way of showing that I had never seen before. But a lot of it's just recycled bullshit.
It's played out.
So,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to jump down to the ugly because the ugly ones are fun.
Oh, you stared right at me and said ugly.
The ugly.
Yeah.
In a world where Josh is. I love Josh.
Ugly.
I'm calling this one The Love Connection of Survivors. The male and female protagonists, or the two that survive at the end, have come through this ordeal, and it's been dramatic and tragic and terrible, and oh, we love each other now. I think that is just the worst. Absolute worst. Like, I get it, but no. That's just kind of, it kicks you in the balls for the story.
Okay.
There's
It's just
a lot of ball kicking going over there, Greg.
I feel like I get kicked in the balls a lot by movies.
This is a lot of ball kicking. Sorry.
He's very flexible. He can kick himself in the balls.
I'd like to see that.
Why the hell did I watch this movie? Ugh.
Punishing myself.
I told you I'm saving that one for later in the podcast.
Well, and as you get older, it gets much easier to kick yourself in the balls.
Got some speed bag going on there.
Well, not quite yet, but I know it's coming.
Jesus.
So yes, the love connection of survivors.
So, all right. So nobody has mentioned they're good yet. So one horror cliche that always fucking works on me, jump scares.
Yep.
Damn it, that was mine.
And well, because and Rachel can attest to it. It doesn't even have to be a freaking horror movie. Any sudden loud sound for me, I will jump, and it's mostly sound. It's not necessarily visual or anything like that. So if there's a movie that's really edited well with sound that's designed to scare you, it is effective on me. So jump scares definitely is in my good, because anymore I become so desensitized to what I'm seeing on the screen that doesn't scare me anymore. So that the things that do scare me are those things.
Now, we've had a conversation about this before, and you like jump scares until they overdo it. Until there's 20 jump scares in a row and you're kind of over it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes, I agree with that, because you can overdo it, because then you're relying on the jump scares instead of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they rely on the jump scares as the main part of the fear
Yeah.
of the movie, no.
Then you failed as a filmmaker.
Exactly. But I think the jump scare is good to have because it helps maintain the tension so long as you do it right. I know you absolutely hated this movie. I don't know if you ever saw this movie or you went with us. The movie that was based out of the Beatrice.
The Gallows.
The Gallows.
yeah.
I've seen it. I didn't
Have
go
you?
with you. Yeah.
I know you hated that movie.
And the sequel's coming. Can't wait.
Excellent.
Wow. Because I enjoyed it.
Did you like the Gallows?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, my God.
I thought that they did really well with
Gallow
that.
my face against the
Because
wall.
you shut your face.
You shut your face against the wall.
I thought they did really well with that because there were minimal jump scares, but it helped maintain the tension of what was going on in the story.
The Gallows was found footage, too.
I'm aware. I'm not crazy about the found footage, but I thought they did really well with what they were presented with or what they shot. So that was just an example that had come off the top of my head.
I got you.
All right, Josh, you're good.
For me, the one thing that always works really well, and I don't really ever get tired of, is creepy kids in movies. If you get a good creepy kid story in a movie, nothing's better to me than a weirdo kid in a movie. So, I like the Annabelles, and I liked,
Right.
those kind of movies. I would just creepy kids in movies. It works for me. So, that's probably my good. So,
All right.
yeah.
Which brings us back around to Greg.
So, because Patrick stole my good, I'm trying to decide between two of them, and because I break the rules, I'm just going to say them both. The first good that I have for horror cliches, I call the tough guy. It's the guy who steps up and says, I'm not afraid of you, I'm going to go right after you, and then 99% of the time dies almost immediately. I semi-hate that character, but I like it because you want them to die. They're typically dicks, and they need to die. It's kind of a nice saving grace to see these guys get hacked to pieces when they're all tough and macho like that. So that's one of them. The other one that I've come to appreciate are the mental institutions and orphanages. I feel like they just add a little bit of mystery and a little bit of like, it helps when the character is like absolutely insane off of their butts. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't allow for much of a backstory because you don't need it, because they're coming from a mental institution or they're coming from some sort of orphanage or group home or whatever. I feel like it's not a terrible thing, but it doesn't hurt the story.
Yeah, they were making a lot of those asylum movies for a while. There's they're cranking those out like crazy for a while.
Well, good discussion on that one.
Yeah. Should we move on to
let's move on to that movie review.
Yeah. So
okay, the person who suggested it is the one who gets to introduce it.
I've had this movie on my my radar for a while. I just hadn't gotten to it yet. So when we were going around to pick a movie, I needed an excuse to watch it. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I threw it out there. So we watched 2017's, which, by the way, this movie was on a ton of people's top 10 list last year. Tragedy Girls is what we watched. Do you have the info on it?
I've got the info on it. Best friends Sadie and Michaela are on a mission to boost their social media fandom as amateur crime reporters hot on the trail of a deranged local serial killer. After they manage to capture the killer and secretly hold him hostage, they realize the best way to get scoops on future victims would be to, murder people themselves. As the @Tragedy Girls become an overnight sensation and panic grips their small town, can their friendship survive the strain of national stardom? Will they get caught? Will their accounts get verified? On IMDb.
It's the fun to watch.
On IMDb, it got 6 out of 10 stars. And then on Rotten Tomatoes, 80% on the tomato meter with an audience score of nearly 70%. Do you agree with those ratings, Greg?
No.
Before we go around, I'm going to throw out a question really quick that we can touch on really fast. And the only thing I want to know, based on just what you guys think, was this movie horror? Was this a horror movie?
I kind of put it in the same realm as Scream.
Okay.
Because it was horror comedy.
Okay.
That it was a slasher film that didn't take itself seriously. I found it to have more dark humor than horror. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I put it probably in the same realm as Scream.
I could agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. I just was like, did it have nowhere else to live, and that's why it kind of landed here, or was it horror? So, but I want to hear
it had some kills that definitely put it into the slasher.
You're right. But I want to hear some hate on the movie, so I'm going to go to Greg really quick. Unless Patrick hated it too, in which case, bring me all the hate.
I am super neutral on this movie, to tell you the truth. I was making notes as I was going along, and I found myself just writing down some of the one-liners that I enjoyed more than actually critiquing the movie.
Okay.
It was a strange watch for me.
Okay.
Because, like you said, where did it live? Mm-hmm. And I think it took some time to find that place where it lived. And for me, it wasn't until the guy they captured came back into the picture.
Okay.
And that's where the movie really shifted gears for me and made more sense. And I was wondering maybe that it should have reached that point sooner.
Mm-hmm. I really dug that opening sequence, by the way. That opening sequence where they're in the car and it's them setting the trap to catch the killer. I thought that was smart.
They defined what this movie was going to be about very early.
Right out of the gate, yeah.
Right out of the gate.
So, Greg...
And was that House of the Rising Sun playing in that weird goth... It was an adaptation.
Oh, it was a weird version of it.
A weird version of it.
Yeah.
But the cool thing was the music in this movie rocked. The soundtrack was really, really good.
What'd you
think? Greg.
Yeah, Greg, what'd you think, buddy? Pal?
You trying to kiss ass here?
No. I really want to know your thoughts.
So I like how Patrick stated that this movie defined what it was almost immediately. because I hated this movie almost immediately.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
I guess I don't know. I said, "Wow." I'm not shocked.
I really liked the setup, the long zoom in on the car, or the long pan in on the car, and then you get in there and they're making out and doing their thing. And then as soon as they step out there and the first kill happens, done. Absolutely done.
Yeah, the only question I had about that opening scene was who the hell parks right in the middle of a covered bridge?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But why? So he puts that machete through that kid's head.
Hey, spoilers.
This is say it, spoilers. I don't fucking care. It's been out for a year now.
Yeah, all right.
So, and you can watch it free on Hulu
On
at this
Hulu.
point. So go to spoilers if you care.
The effects on the kills were awful.
Really? You thought? Really?
I did not like them at all. They looked, it was basically a 2D shot of what was going on. So it basically took away any imagination of anything like that. Like with the one chick and the saw blade.
I fucking loved that kill.
To each their own. I just thought it was the way that it was done. I felt that they could have done it better. What I think killed it for me was the personalities of the main characters. It did not jive with me at all.
Okay.
And I think
that was one of the biggest complaints I think people had on some of the reviews, is that you can never really care for these characters.
Right.
That you couldn't hate them, you couldn't like them. It was just kind of in the middle.
But they were like, they sold their friendship perfectly, I thought. Like
in the end?
Just in
or
general,
all the way through?
All the way through, because like you could have miscast this you and tell that like you needed people to look like they've hung out since they were little kids,
right?
And you that can go south really quick if you cast that wrong. And I thought it was perfectly cast, and I thought these girls did a great job of making it look like they've been friends for years. So I thought they did a great job.
Which I would agree. I definitely did feel a connection between the two of them, and that was fine. It was still their personalities were just I couldn't wrap my hand around them at all. I like how you had mentioned, Patrick, that you would class this in with Scream, because now that you're mentioning it, I don't know where I would class it at, and as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I almost felt like a comedic Riverdale from it. I don't know if you could pull that from it too.
Not so much, because I like Rivendell so much that it's.
But see, I liked Riverdale too.
Yeah,
but that's how I kind of felt like this was.
Yeah,
but
to me, it wasn't necessarily as dark as Riverdale.
No. That's why I said a comedic.
Right.
So, like you said, it's more of a black comedy, kind of. But no.
Yeah, because to me, this was kind of like Scream meets Mean Girls.
Okay, there you go. I could see that.
Josh, you know the movie Mean Girls, right? You own it.
Yeah,
you
sure.
own it,
I've
right?
seen it 300-400 times.
Right, sure. But to me, that's kind of where it sat for me. I had written down in my notes, I said disappointed that there was really nothing new, and immediately following that, I put, okay, the table saw death. That was something new.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then I followed that up shortly after that with the barbell death.
I wrote that same one down.
With
The weight
Craig,
room death.
the weight room death.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That was another one that you've seen someone killed with barbells before, but not this way.
It was a Final Destination kill.
It really was.
That happened, and I was just like,
and didn't they make a joke about Final Destination?
They're like, this is some Final Destination shit or something like that. Yeah, I was like, holy shit. I laughed for like 5 minutes straight after that weight room death happened. I thought that was the funniest shit ever.
That whole scene was pretty funny, though. With Craig, what was
Craig Robinson?
Robinson, that's his last name. Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie a lot. I said I thought the girls were great as best friends. Kills that happened. I liked that they're like, fuck, this doesn't work, because now it doesn't look like an accident. They kept, like, everything had to look like they kept messing up.
Yeah.
And they had to go back and figure out, how do we make this not look like an accident? So like in the Saw room one, they chopped that girl's goddamn head off so it didn't look like she did that to herself.
I damn near peed myself when the janitor walked in.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed the movie a lot. So that's just, I know that's fine. Greg, I know it's okay. Just like it's okay that you hated it. It's fine. Everybody's
entitled to their opinion.
Yes. Your opinion's wrong. It's okay.
This movie was garbage.
That's all right. Yeah, does anybody have anything else? I would totally recommend this to anybody to watch Tragedy Girls right now.
Totally bothered me for the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie, looking at the blonde, Sadie, and going, I know her. I know that actress. I know her. Ended up that she played Negasonic Teenage Warhead from the Deadpool movies.
Okay, I see that now.
And then it's interesting because she has a Marvel connection, and then so does, let's see, the actress's name was Alexandra Shipp that played Michaela. She played Storm in X-Men Apocalypse. So they both have Marvel Universe connections.
Shit, now I hate this movie.
Ha! There you go.
I still hate this movie.
In the end, really quick, I loved the nod to Carrie.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Yes.
So
I think I enjoyed the last 15 minutes of the movie better than the rest of the movie.
I did want to punch that boyfriend right in the balls, though. He was the only annoying character. I was like, I'm kind of over this guy.
Yeah.
So he's a little whiny for me.
Yeah.
A little too.
I also thought Josh Hutchinson's cameo was pretty funny, too. The guy on the motorcycle.
I don't remember.
It was towards the beginning.
It was right towards the beginning. That was one of their first kills.
Oh, yeah, yep. I got you. Yep.
Yeah, because he was non-credited for this movie.
Okay.
But he just played this really, I don't know, down to earth.
Yeah.
But it was annoying as hell, and to watch him die was fun.
Yeah.
What I took away from this movie more than anything was, to me, it was basically a stab at current society, at the celebrity status, and all of the obsessions that come with it. Because too many people are not putting their phones down. And this is exactly what this was about. As Craig turns.
It was a nice touch on social media and the dangers of
I think it was.
media.
And they, not only did they play it up, but they were constantly on their phones, which also reminded me of like Clueless and other movies like that. But they also did the on-screen.
You said Clueless and I thought Clue.
Oh, they showed the text messages.
They showed the text messages and stuff like that, and how many likes they got. There was a string of emojis. I wish I would have screen capped that so I could figure out what all the emojis were on the screen, because I didn't have my glasses on. I wasn't able to see them.
And that might have been another thing that annoyed me, was the whole social media aspect. Like I get that they're taking a shot at social media and all the dangers that come along with it, with trying to be the 15-minute celebrity or whatever like that, but I feel like this whole social media thing has just gotten like grossly out of hand. And I think that part annoyed me too, was that there's just, let's post this on Instagram or let's put this on Twitter.
But it's everywhere. And they've touched on it obviously in other movies, but if you're going to touch on a social issue, that's just an easy.
No, and I get that.
To reach out
right. And I get that. And I don't know. I feel like they probably could have done a little bit better. Just again, my opinion.
Gotcha.
Take it or leave it, but
I gotcha. What are we giving it for ratings there, Greg?
I cannot legitimately rate this movie because I did not finish this movie.
Wow.
I shut it off about 3/4 of the way in because I was just done.
Wow. All right, man. All right. Well, what about you, Patrick?
I may have just deflated the podcast.
No. I'm just saying, of every movie that you pick, I finish. But whatever, it's cool.
But he still owes us 2 movies as well.
He kind of does.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm probably going to give it a 6.
Okay. I would go higher. I was sitting around 8.
Okay.
But I like the movie a lot. The only shitty thing is I have this on Blu-ray, and it didn't come with any fucking special features, or I would have given it a 9. God damn it! It came with nothing, 0.
Really?
It came with commentary, but otherwise, there's so many opportunities to show some really cool behind the scenes.
Well, that's it. Maybe we should have Greg watch it with the commentary.
Yeah, maybe
all the way to the end.
Start it over, Greg. Do it again.
I'll jump right on that.
Let's do plugs, Greg. What do you got?
I am Greg the Movie Guy, the best movie reviewer you have never heard of. I write movie reviews with a positive spin over at GregTheMovieGuy.com. As of late, I have dropped 2 posts for you, brand new movies, The Incredibles 2 and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Jump on over to GregTheMovieGuy.com, give them a read, and most of all, share it with your friends. Give me some love. I want to see more readers. I'm being greedy. Share, please. Share for me, otherwise I'll cry. Don't make me
get
cry.
on the social media and share.
Damn it. I'm not killing people on social media.
I'll give you some love, Greg.
Awesome. That's GregTheMovieGuy.com.
I plugged this a little bit. Last time we met, a movie that I was in, Corruptor, is on video on demand, Spectrum, Amazon, DirecTV, Dish. I believe it's really everywhere. $5.99 for the rental.
Nice.
I know that there's like on Amazon you can purchase it or something like that, but no DVD yet, but supposedly on its way.
What was the name of the movie?
Corruptor.
So, I wasn't sure if you said it or not.
Yeah.
You probably did.
I did.
I missed it.
So support indie filmmaking. Check it out.
Speaking of indie filmmaking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So was that my turn?
That's
Was
a
that
Greg way.
Okay. Yeah. Check out the Prairie Lights Film Festival. It's coming to the Grand Theater in Grand Island, Nebraska, October 12th, 13th, and 14th. I got those dates right, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
You should go. It is a pretty goddamn good time, and it's super cheap. It's like $10
$10 for the
It
weekend.
gets you into the festival. You get to see all the movies. It gets you vouchers for the popcorn and the soda. You get to go to all the after parties and all the other really cool stuff. And you get to go talk to filmmakers and listen to them talk about their films and all that other fun stuff. It's an awesome time. I've gone every year for the last however many years, and yeah, it's awesome. I love it. So you should go. Everybody should go.
Everybody should go.
Greg has a movie playing there this year.
They announced it.
So even more of a reason to go. You can go check out Greg's short film, The Best.
The best.
The best.
awesome.
Funny story on that. I was showing Emily the message that I got from Matt Keister.
Yeah.
About it actually being accepted into the thing. I have to pull it up because it was too funny because we actually both read this the exact same way, and looking back, we were insanely stupid for.
I told him to send you a rejection message. But
Why would you do that? That's such a.
Boy, that's fun.
I really didn't. No, I really wanted to.
That would have been me.
I would have loved that message.
Oh, I would.
Dear Greg, you were the first and only person to ever be rejected from this festival. Congratulations, you win.
Okay. The header reads The Best Prairie Lights Selection. And the first line here says, on behalf of everyone at the Prairie Lights Film Festival, we'd like to congratulate you on the selection of the best for our 2018 event. We both read that as like the upper echelon of the movies there. So she was asking me, do you get any special treatments? Do you get this? Do you get that?
Gotcha.
And I'm sitting here thinking, no, they just do that for everybody. 3 hours later, I come back and I think, the best is the title of my movie. We are both a couple of idiots.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yes, come on out. It's my anniversary that weekend. I will damn sure be out there.
Yeah.
Really excited to see this on the big screen. Very excited with how it turned out. And
it's going to be a good time. They've
It'll be a
announced
great time.
a ton of really great films that are playing out there already.
Absolutely.
There's more announcements to come. You can find all the announcements at PrairieLightsFilmFest.com, and they have a Facebook page also, the Prairie Lights Film Festival Facebook page. Get all the info there. You can buy your tickets in advance. You can go on there and buy them right now, I'm pretty sure. Go. Just stop listening to this and
do it now.
Go buy that shit.
Do it.
It's awesome. Otherwise, as far as we go, you can check us out at MidnightFrightFilms.com. You can find us on Facebook at Midnight Fright Films. The Midnight Frightcast, we're pretty sure on the Instagrams, and I think we tweet once in a while, and we're on YouTube all over the place. That's where you can find Midnight Fright Films. Other than that, I'm out of breath. I'm
just
winded.
Make sure when you go to those places, when you go to the podcast, when you go to YouTube, that you subscribe, folks. That way you can keep up to date on when we post new things.
And if this is the first time listening to the podcast, go back. We got 33 other podcasts. Just start at number one and work your way up. It's they got better. They did get better.
Over time. Well, I don't know if this is the best. Maybe we don't want them to go back. And
yeah, you're right. Everything I just said, fucking forget it.
Right.
Start here. Maybe they'll get better from here.
Nice.
But until next time, we'll be back. in another couple
of weeks.
And we'll do another one. So until then, Greg the Movie Guy and Patrick, the Doctor of Filmonomics and other things, we'll see you next time.
All right. Peace out, Boy Scout.
Bye.